I'd like to point out that the main idea of Shivasa Tammuz, the main idea of the 3 weeks, is that we should gain chizuk, we should know what Hashem wants from us, particularly here in this galus, to learn and to be able to aspire to. All of us wonder exactly, what is our tafkid in this world? What's my purpose? Why was I sent here? What could I do? How could I help to build the Beis HaMikdash? We know that if the Beis HaMikdash isn't built in our days, we're chayiv. We are obligated. So I want to know, Hashem, how do I do it? How do I build the Beis HaMikdash? Now it's an interesting thing, because the human being is full of conflicts. One day I want to be a tzaddik, one day I don't want to be a tzaddik. One day I want to learn, one day I'm not so interested in learning. And I'm conflicted back and forth. Hashem says, get the direction, know what we have to do, where we have to accomplish. Keep your eye on the goal and go that way and never let it go, no matter what the situation, no matter what the challenge, no matter what the nisayon. However, sometimes a person is back and forth. It's an interesting thing. Just to give an example, as an interesting medrash, the medrash says, what happens? What happens? A ganav, chas v'shalom, a thief. A thief is coming in from the window. Baba Machter is up there. What do? Well, I don't know if you'll do it, but lo aleinu, what you're allowed to do. You're allowed to take a gun. You're allowed to shoot him. Baba Machteres. You get him before he, chas v'shalom, gets you. That's the halacha. That's the way it is. So obviously, he's not a very good person. Obviously, I'm choshed that maybe he wants to do something bad, so I'm allowed to go quickly and to take care of him and to kill him, no question. On the other hand, fascinating medrash. Fascinating medrash. There's a man, and he wants to steal. He's a ganav. Where do you want to go if you want to steal something? The jewelry store. So he goes on the top of the jewelry store, he goes onto the roof, and there while he's on the roof, he begins to plan how he is going to steal, what he's going to take, all the things that he's going to do that night. And he's in there waiting on the top. He wants to wait. Midnight, he's going to strike when he thinks that nobody will see. What does he do before he begins to drill a hole in the roof in order to be able to go and to steal and to make whatever he's going to take away from the jewelry store in his loot? What's he do before? Kach amar medrash. The medrash says, puts on a gartel, takes out a tehillim, and he begins to be mispalo. He begins to daven. Ribbona Shalom, please, I'm begging you, help me, I should be matzliach when I'm going in and when I'm going out. Help me that I should be able to go down, and while I'm going down, not to trip off the alarm. Help me that no human eye should see it. Help me that when I get to the safe, I have kvitzas haderech, and I'm able to crack the safe and open it up, and I hit to the right numbers. Help me that I got the understanding of how to do. Get me to the right things that I'm able to find the real gold and silver and jewels. Help me to avoid the zirconium and all of the fake jewels and everything else, the costume. And that's mispalel. He's mispalel and he shokels while he's doing. He's going back and forth, right? And then he goes in and whatever happens, happens. Asks the Mefarshim, which is it? Is the ganav the above machteres, I can take a gun and shoot? Or is the ganav the person that takes out everything you need tefillah for? He's mispalel. Hashem, help me. I'll give meiser even from it. I'll give chomish. I'll give 20%. But what is it? Either he's one or he's not. He can't be both. So it's an interesting idea that the Heilige Rabbi Yaakov Galinsky said. It's a very interesting thing. There was a man, Ein Yehudi, and he lives next to a Yid, lives next to a Jew. And the interesting thing is, he sees that the Jew goes out in the morning, and he comes home probably about 1 o'clock, 1:30, not late. He's got everything. His children got everything. He lives nicely, good food, has some nice things inside of his house. And this Eini Yehudi lives next door. He works an entire day in the coal mines, from the early morning until late at night. He can barely put on the table bread and water for his family. He doesn't have enough furniture for everybody in the family. He comes home, he's covered with soot, black. He comes, he's exhausted. He doesn't even have the koyach to schlep himself to the bed. He falls asleep on the chair in the middle while he's eating his bread. One day, he can't take it anymore. How does that Jew do it? How does that Yid come only after a few hours? He has everything. Comes home, perfect, no problem. And he got everything that he wants. One day, he worked up his gumption. He got the oimitz. And he goes over to the Yid and he says, tell me, Reb Yid, how is it that I'm going the whole day and I'm working the coal mines and I'm covered with black and I can't even have enough money for my family to eat the basic necessities that they need? And you're going out just a few hours, I see you. You come back, they tell me early afternoon, and you got everything you want. Yidden are Rachmanim b'nei Rachmanim. Yidden are nice. He says, I'm happy to tell you. I'm happy to share with you. I'm not the person that's only for myself. I'm happy to show you. He says, tomorrow you can come with me and you can see my work. The Eini Yehudi, the guy next door, he thinks, man, I made it now. I'm going to get the path, the way to get all the riches. And he says, this is unreal. He's up early in the morning. And the Yid's walking down the street. All of a sudden, the Eini Yehudi sees him. He jumps out of his house. He follows him. And the Yid goes to a shul. And Eini Yehudi's a little bit afraid to go inside. He said, no, it's okay. You can come in. We're Rachmanim b'nei Rachmanim. You could come in. It's okay. Right? So he goes inside. And the Eini Yehudi observes how the Yid starts going around asking for tzedakah. He goes to the mispalim, tzedukah, 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 and they start to give him money. And this person is watching it, and he's nispoil. This is unreal. He doesn't have to do anything. It's a white-collar job. All he's got to do is ask people for a little bit of money. They all seem to give him money. He was very impressed. And he watches it carefully, watches very carefully. He sees it. He goes with him a couple of days. He observes it. OJT, on-the-job training, and he comes out after he's done. Now he knows. He's got the mahalach. He'll open up his own franchise. Oh, so what's he do? He gets for himself a yarmulke. He puts a yarmulke on his head, the Eini Yehudi, and he goes. He learned how to do it. He goes to one of the shuls, and he starts. Tzedukah, tzedukah, tzedukah. He walks around to everybody, and they start giving him money. This is unbelievable, right? Yidden, Rachmanim b'nei Rachmanim. So he makes money, and it's going good. He quit his job in the coal mine. He has got a midlife change, a second career. Oh, beautiful. Everything's going good for a while, until one day he sees a guy come in, and this guy is making more money than anybody else. People run over to give him the money. People want to. They try to tell him a few good words, and they give him more than just a small coin. They give him $1. He waits. When the guy's leaving, he says to him, let me ask you a question. Yes? I see that they give to you more than anybody else. What's your secret? How do you get the money? He says, well, I tell you the truth. I'm a ger. I'm a ger tzedek. So there's a special mitzvah in the Torah, v'havtem es a ger. So Yidden want to show that they're mekayim that mitzvah, and they give extra. V'havtem es a ger. You have to make sure they don't have a difficult time. Next day, the Eini Yehudi comes in, yarmulke on his head. Tzedukah leger tzedek. Tzedukah leger tzedek. And people begin to give him more. V'havtem es a ger. It's unbelievable. And he's doing good. That lasts for a couple of weeks. Until one day, he sees a guy come in. The guy's collecting. and they begin to throw money at him. They're throwing money at him. They can't even give him enough. Everybody starts to put their hands in their pocket. He waits till after davening, doesn't want to be mafsik in the middle. Waits till after davening, he runs over to the Yid and he says, tell me, what is your secret? How come people are rushing over, running to give you money? He says, well, I tell you the truth, I don't like to say it, but I'm an Einikul of the Baal Shem Tov, grandson of the Baal Shem. People like Nischus, Biglal Avos Tashia Bonim, and they see who I am, so they want to start to give me money. And that's why they have a lot of simcha in doing it. The next day, the Eini Yehudi goes to the next shul, and he says, Tzeduk u'leger tzedek, that is an Einikul of the Baal Shem Tov. You cannot be everything. You got to be one. A person has to decide in life, Aganev, Bo Machteres, or Hashem, please let me be matzliach in all my averis. A person cannot be both. An individual has to choose in which way they're going. During the time of the 3 weeks, we have the schus gadol, that we're able to clarify ourselves, that we realize that the center of our lives, the center of everybody's life, is Binyan Beis HaMikdash HaShlishi. We pray every day, Hashem Yisbarach, let us see the return of the Shekhinah to Tzion. Every day, I say to Hashem, help us come back to Yerushalayim. Every single day in benching of B'nai Yerushalayim Kodesh. That's the ikr that a person has to keep their focus on. The Chaim Shel Ruchnius, the life of spirituality that Hashem put us here into this world. We all have the koyach. We can all do it. Any person here, no matter who they are, no matter how big or small you may think of yourselves, you're great in the eyes of Hashem. Every Yid has a power in the eyes of Hashem that we can't even be Meshayar. It is impossible for us to know what is our Yecholis, what's my potential. Because I think I can do this much, I can do that much. You cannot tell what you are able to accomplish in this world. I had an elderly aunt, and I'll say it over, elderly aunt, and I loved her very much. And she moved at the end of her life to Florida. And there, she wanted to keep busy one day. So she came in, really elderly. She came in, there was an art place that offered classes. She had nothing to do, nothing. So she came into the art place, and the instructor told her to sit down, and they gave everybody an easel with the paper, and they said, everybody, paint whatever you think you could do. If you could paint a house, just a square, paint that. If you could paint a boy, a stick figure, paint it. Whatever you can do, do it. My aunt went, and she begins to paint, and she's painting and painting. The instructor came over and said to her, I'm sorry, ma'am, this class is not for you. She said, I didn't see that there was an age limit. I didn't see that an older person cannot also come. He says, no, that's not what I meant. But I see by the picture that you made that you are an artist. So you don't belong here in the class. She said, I promise you I never painted before in my life. Kitzur Maisa, the picture that she never knew she could paint, in her wildest dreams, sold for $360. That picture. The yecholos that a person has inside. We don't know. We don't know what a person is capable of doing, what a person is capable of giving to the world, what a person is capable of inventing, what a person is capable of helping another individual. We have kochos ne'elomim, the power that we have inside, we don't even know about it. Avram Avinu, right? Hashem Yisbarach said, swear, Avram Avinu. So the Sochet Shavar says, why Avram Avinu has to swear? Avram Avinu, he lied down in front of Hashem. Hashem said, take your son. Akedes Yitzchak. Hineni. He's ready, he's taking him. So why Avram Avinu had to swear? The answer that the Avnei Nezer says is because a person has koichos ne'elamim. If I swear, if I make a shvuah, then the koichos come out because I'm forced to let those koichos come out. Until that time, they don't come out. It's during these weeks that we have the power to see what is inside of our potential, to give a good look inside, and to understand who we are, the Mesiras Nefesh that Klal Yisrael has, the tremendous milas that Chazal tell us, that in the Talmud it tells us all of the things that each and every one of us has. Everybody is special. Everybody is great. There's not one person destined this way or destined that way. Everyone has the koyach. Interesting, they always say from the word, what do we call? B'nai Yisrael. Yisrael, right? Yisrael starts, the littlest letter in the Aleph base, Yud, ends with the biggest letter, the biggest ois in the Aleph base, Lamed. No matter where a person started from, no matter a person's yichus, no matter what chances a person had in life or no chances they had in life, the little Yud can become a big Lamed. That is our job in this world. We come across an interesting pasuk. It's a troubling pasuk, but we'll share it together today. And that pasuk we have in the Navi Yeshayahu. The pasuk is difficult for us to understand, and today I would like to try just to work up a basic understanding. Yodah shor koneu. The ox knows its master. The ox knows its master. Yodah shor koneu. V'chamor, and the donkey, Evus ba'alav. It knows the feeding trough of its master. Okay? The ox does realize it. Yodah shor, says the Maharal, Yodah shor, the ox is also called in Chagiga the king of the animals, the king of the behemoths. Why? Because it has hakara, because it understands, it recognizes, it knows who its master is. And the donkey knows the trough of its owner. It goes to that trough. In fact, even the horse, a horse knows how to get back to its owner. You could take the horse many miles from its original owner's home, it will find its way back. Many maisim have happened over the years, and especially during the Holocaust, of things that happen with animals. However, the Navi continues, unfortunately, Yisrael lo yada. But my nation forgot me, Hashem said. Somehow they got mixed up. They got confused. They didn't realize who they are. Bonim atem l'Hashem. They don't always act like bonim. They don't always act like children. They don't always act like, I'm the balabos over the world. I am the master. Ami lo hispainon. My nation, they didn't think about it. My nation, they didn't put a little bit of thought into Hashem. Now, that's an extremely interesting pasuk. I don't want to ever be compared to an animal. I don't want to be compared to an ox, certainly not to a donkey. But yet the pasuk says, Yodah shor koneu, ami lo yad, my nation, they didn't know me. Ami lo ispanon, they didn't think about me. So the truth is that we have an idea that Klal Yisrael needs to have his bainanus. His bainanus is thought. That I should think about it. I need to have a few minutes thought during the day of tshuva. I need to have a few minutes thought during the day. Am I doing everything that I need to do? If I don't think, if I don't put my mind to it, I could completely slip everything. But if I think for a few minutes, it's very, very much worthwhile. How many people come over and they say, you know, Rav, I davened the wrong Shemon Esrei. I said the wrong tefillah. So I said, well, which one were you supposed to say? Well, it was Musaf Rosh Chodesh. This happened. Musaf Rosh Chodesh. And I said, so which Musaf did you daven? I davened Musaf Shabbos. Okay, I have to daven another time. But the hisbainanus is the important part. Even though Hashem, afal pi, that mitzvahs do not need to have kavanah. There's only a couple mitzvahs. Otherwise, even a person did a mitzvah without kavanah, it's still okay. Fascinating, fascinating. If a person says mashiva ruach at the time, they ask for rain, at a time when Klal Yisrael is not supposed to ask for rain, they have to be chayzer l'rosh. They have to go back and say Shemona Esrei again. What's the reason? So we would say, they said the wrong nusach. They said the wrong nusach. It's not the right thing. They got to go back and say it again. However, it's a fascinating idea. The fascinating idea is that the real reason is because when they said Mashiva Ruach and it was not supposed to be the raining time, we are afraid because of that one Yid that made a mistake and said Mashiva Ruach that the rain may come down. So the Be'er Shel Torah says, this is an amazing thing. The guy made a mistake. He's not thinking about davening. He's completely in a different world. And he says, Mashiva Ruach, we're afraid that the tefillah could be niskayim, that maybe it's going to happen. So what do we see from it? That a person needs to have a little bit havana. A person needs to have a little bit of thought and understanding before we do anything. This is the teva of the shore. The nature of the ox is it remembers its owner. The nature of the donkey, it knows where its food came from. And if a person would have that teva, they would also be able to do it. But the individual may not have that teva. That's what we're going to argue. There is a teva. There's a fish that swims in the ocean. And the fish, lo alenu, cannot see, does not have the gift of sight. However, the fish can navigate perfectly, never has a problem because Hashem built into it a certain radar and it doesn't need to see. A human being doesn't have it. So perhaps the shore, the ox, and the donkey has that teva and we don't have it. However, the answer is no. We also have the teva. We also have that nature. But we have to develop it, the sensitivity, the understanding, the wisdom to know that this is required of us. That is something that a person needs to develop. That's something that we need to work on. And that's what we're working on during this time. Fascinating, fascinating piece in the Gemara in Bava Basra. It's an unbelievable piece that will help to explain this idea that I got to be sensitized. When I see things going on in the world, so I realize that it is all stemming from Chorban Yerushalayim. It's all stemming from the time of Tisha B'Av. There was a little boy in the house yesterday, and I had a sefer because I was thinking about coming to this wonderful center, and I wanted to have something special. So I had a sefer on the table, and the sefer had a very interesting picture of the Kosel Maravi and light and signifying the Avelus over Yerushalayim and the Beis Hamikdash. And in the corner, it had a badge that the Yidden were forced to wear during the Shoah, during the Holocaust. The yellow badge, the star. So the boy asked me, Rabbi, why do they have that? Isn't that from the Holocaust? That's from the Shoah? Why is that on there? And I began to explain to him the Mekor Hadvarim, the Shoirish Hadvarim, where the tsaros in this world started. We can put a lot into perspective when we come to that understanding. And so, this is what we work on. We work on, when I hear about Beis Hamikdash, I pay attention. When I hear a shir and they're talking about the Beis Hamikdash and the future binyan, I say, well, right now it's not Nagay. I'll listen in. I'll learn Zvachim and everything as soon as it comes. No, it's Nagay right now. Chavetz Chaim said, learn Kodshim, learn the halachos, learn about binyan Beis Hamikdash, learn what we're going to be involved in, learn what will happen in the future. That's what a person has to do. They have to dream into the future and they have to think about it. And they could sit down on Tikkun Chatzos. I saw somewhere in Borough Park there's a minyan, Tikkun Chatzos at midnight, to sit on the floor and to cry over Chorban Beis Hamikdash. So we have an amazing piece in the Talmud that helps us clarify it. Hahu Gavra, there was a certain man, the Shama Lidbisu, the Ka'amr Librata. The wife was overheard. She didn't know that he is listening in. And she said to her daughter the following. When he overheard it, he said, Amai lo tznias bi'isura. Why aren't you careful when you do something wrong? At least don't advertise it. Don't go into public and do something wrong. At least be discreet. Do it in quiet. What happened? Hach itza asara b'nei isla. The woman had 10 sons. 10 sons. A minion. V'leisli me'avuch elochad. But she told her daughter, there's only one of the sons that comes from your father. Oh, unfortunately, this woman was not very discreet. She had gone and done averos. She had children that were not her husband's. Children, unfortunately, that had no shaykhis. I don't want to say anything. So before the father died, Kishochiv, when he was ready to give his neshama back, he said, Omar lahu, he said to his whole family, Kol nechasai lechadbara, all of my belongings go to my one son. Because don't forget, she said only one son was from him. Okay, at that moment, he left this world. His neshama left the world. Only problem was, we don't know which the son is. Lo yodei le minaychu, didn't know which one of them was his real son. So what could they do? If a person needs to understand a problem or an answer, they have to consult with the Gedolei Olam. Shemipiem anu chayim. We breathe from the words of their mouth. They stand berumo shel olam, and they protect us, and they beseech Hashem for us. Oh, the great tzaddikim enoshim tzidkonios. So he realized that there's a shayla chamura. How could you tell who is the real son and who is not the real son? So they came to the heilige Rabbi Bana, and they asked Rabbi Bana, tell us, which one? We want to know. We want to know who gets the Yerusha. We want to know who gets the Nechasim. Tell us, who's the real McCoy? Who's the faker? Right? So Rabbi Bana thought for a moment, and he said something that is amazing. He said, I'll tell you what you do. Zilu, chaboitu, kivra davuchain. All of you, you go and you take sticks and you start to beat on the kever, on the grave of your father. Take sticks and beat it. Ad dekoi umegale lechu lahai minaychu shavka. Until the father will raise from the kever and will say, which one of you is the real son? Which one is the real son? Oh, now that's unbelievable. When you say something al pi Kabbalah, when you say something like this, immediately people are going to believe it, and they all got the answer to their question. They went and they ran and they got sticks, and they went to the kever and they started beating. However, there was one son, Hahu Dibrei de lo yazal. There was one son that didn't go. He didn't go. He couldn't do it. He did not have it within him to do this thing. Omar lahu, Rabbana said, kulo nichsa dahai. All of the belongings, the whole Yerusha, goes to that one son that did not go to beat on the father's grave, on his kever. Why? Because somehow he had it inside. The real son would never bring himself to be mezalzel in the kavod, to do something to be mevaza the mace that he could not do. When he felt that inside, then he realized, Rabbana, that this was the real son. The truth is, when it comes to the Chorban Beis HaMikdash, we have the same exact idea. It's a feeling inside of us. It's a feeling that everybody has, that we could cry over it. There's a feeling inside of us that we could feel bad over it, but it has to be developed. The son did have that nature, and he had an easier nature, it just had to be brought out. Did he know a minute before and say, I'm the real son? No. Was he able to tell? No. And when they were arguing over the Rusha, which son is it? Did he say, no, it's me? He didn't say it at all. But when it came to the Maisa of hitting on top of the kever, then it came to light. Then in color, it stood in front of him. This is my father. That's the regesh. That's what a person has to feel when it comes to Yerushalayim. When it comes to Beis HaMikdash. It's mine. That's my house. That's where I get kapara. That's where I get mechila. That's where the korbanos is going to be brought. That is the house of Hashem. That's what we talk about and we sing about all the time. It comes to all the different smiras. Zvul beis tifartenu. That's when it comes to Adar hu bimheira. Kel b'nei b'nei veischa b'karov. That's what we talk about in so many different ways. The Rambam says in different ways, Beis HaBchira, we change depending on the particular mode. What we call the Beis HaMikdash. That's what we cry about during Hoshana. So we're a whole year involved in the Beis HaMikdash in Yerushalayim. The only thing is, I got to bring it out of my teva. I have to bring it out of my nature. And this is the time when I got the chance to bring it to the forefront. One more interesting pasuk that we have, and that pasuk is that we are a nation, keved avon. Keved avon. We're weighed down by sin. When a person is weighed down by sin, so they don't have chance to think about all the things in ruchnius that I need to be cognizant of, that I got to remember. I have those thoughts, and unfortunately, there are times that I don't spend enough on it because I'm all involved in all the things. The Yetzer is happy I should be Torah the whole day. Yetzer is happy I'm involved in this and involved in that daiga and this daiga. Believe me, it doesn't help. A person thinks about their daigas. It does not help. The Heilige Lelever, the great Lelever once said, there is only one worry that a person is allowed to have in this life. Only one worry is mutter. I ask him, which one, Rebbe? And that is, you're allowed to worry while you're worrying. More than that, not. But Yetzer tries to make us start. So, Am Keved Avon. It says in the Navi that we are a nation that sometimes becomes heavy with Averis. Averis surround a person. It's easy. It's simple. A lot of challenges that a person has. We don't even have to look to it to come to it. That's why a person has to surround themselves. How fortunate we are that today we have assembled the people that came from Hidabroot, which is an organization, She'omid Bruma Shalom, in Torah anytime. I mean, it's unbelievable bringing Torah to millions of people each and every day on every single continent. It's unbelievable. Bruma Shalom. And Chazak. Oh, Chazak. Organization that is Mechazik Yidden on all different fronts, from the most to the least, from the right to the left, everyone. So that's our answer for today, that we are able to fight with Torah. We're able to fight with mitzvahs. That's what helps us in order all of the things that the world comes to tell us to do, we're able to fight back because we have the one weapon, and that weapon is Torah. And that weapon, the Satan does not have an easy time with. The Satan didn't start up with Avraham Avinu, didn't start up with Yaakov, with Yitzchak, but did start up with Yaakov. Yaakov was the star shel Torah. And the Satan knew when it comes to the Torah, he's going to lose. And that is the beauty. The Borough Park Center makes an evening, afternoon, when everybody comes together, such an unbelievable olam. Really, very, very special. You should know the schus that I have to stand here. You should know the schus I have to stand in front of you. That's a weapon. That's what we have in this world, to fight against the Yetzer Hara. So it says, Am Keved Avon. We're a nation that's heavy with sin. So what does that mean? Particularly in our days, in our generation, we have more Averis that are Shayach than maybe previous generations. It's easier. More things are accessible. It's difficult. Things are too accessible. So it's very hard for a person to be able to keep on the straight and narrow, to be a loyal Eved of Hashem. But we should never be discouraged, no matter what a person went through. They can always come back, and it doesn't matter what an individual, where they're holding, they can always come back strong. There was a Yid in Eretz Yisrael, a fascinating incident that happened. a Yid in Eretz Yisrael. And this particular Jew had a difficulty. He started to be influenced by certain friends. He came from a nice family, a family that were Gor Choshev. And he went the other way. He got influenced by his friends. Ad kedei kach, until the point where he decided he's going to marry somebody out of the fold. Terrible, terrible. His friends told him that he's got to tell his parents. You're not marrying a Yid, you got to tell your parents. It's not right. They find out about it, any chance of ever having any connection with them is gone. You never have a chance. So he mustered up the strength. The Yid came over and he told his parents that he's going to marry someone out of the religion. The parents began to cry. They tried to speak with him. They saw that pretty much his mind was made up. And then he added in, I'm already engaged. Chaval. The father, after talking, realized that he said as much as he could. He had a shir kavua with the great Rav Steinman, Zecher Tzadik Livracha, great Rav Steinman. He told his son, I want to stay together here with you, but right now I have a shir kavua. I have a fixed study time. Rav Steinman is giving a shir. But then the father thought, at the end, he said, maybe you would like to come. To his astonishment, to his shock, the son said, I would like to go. I will go together with you. The son that is marrying out, that did who knows what, is masking to go to a shir from the Gadol Ador. And they both go. Afterwards, the father asked the son, would you mind if we go to Rav Steinman and just get a bracha? The son said, okay. They went. The father could not hold himself back. He blurted out the situation with his son. Rav Steinman looked at him with loving eyes. Rav Steinman said, can I ask you a question? How long have you not been Shomer Shabbos? How long have you not been religious? The son said, 2 years. Rav Steinman said to him, over those 2 years, did you ever have regret? Did you ever feel bad? The son said, yes, I did. Could you tell me how many times you felt bad? The son said, there are 4 times that I could remember. 4 times. 4 times that I regretted I had charata. Rav Steinman said, tell me, those 4 times that you had regret, how long did that last? The son said, approximately 10 minutes. Rav Steinman said to him, he put his hands on the shoulders of that boy. And he said, I want you to know, b'mokum shebalei tshuva oimdim, in the place where a person that is about tshuva, that repents, that has charata, that regrets, tzaddikim gemurim, complete tzaddikim, are not able to stand there. So because of those 40 minutes that you have of tshuva, I'm mekane. I'm jealous of you. I'm jealous of your schuyos. You're bigger than me. You're bigger than Steinman. The son heard this. The son broke down. They walked out. The son walked his father back to his house, his apartment. By the time he reached, the son said, I am not going through with this. I'm calling the engagement off. He did not explain himself. He left. Sometime later, when the son got back together with the father said, I have only one question for you. Nothing else. I don't want to ask. I respect you. Could you tell me why you agreed to go to see Rav Steinman in the situation that you are? How far away you were from Torah and mitzvahs for Rav Steinman. He says, I have to tell you, I was in the class in Yeshiva Katana. We have an expert Rebbe Manal from Yeshiva Katana here. And Rav Steinman came to give a faher, to give a test to the boys. Every boy, when they did the right answer to Rav Steinman's question, he gave to them a nice candy. When it came my turn, almost at the end, Rav Steinman asked me a question. I didn't know the answer. Rav Steinman was patient. He said, I'll ask you a different question. He asked a little bit easier question. The boy tried, but he said, I didn't know the answer. Rav Steinman then said, that's okay, I'll give you another question. He asked him an easier question. The boy tried. He didn't get the answer. All the other boys left the class. This little boy was the last. Rav Steinman called him over. And he said to him the following, you know, in our Torah, you do not get the reward because you know the answer. You don't get the reward for specifically what you accomplish. You get the award for your effort, for your trying, for the challenge. You get that reward. The other boys, they only answered one question. But you poured forth effort 3 times. Therefore, I'm giving you 3 candies. So you see, Tati, that's the reason I agreed to go to Rav Steinman. Be'ezer Hashem Yisparach, all of us, we should feel the mesikus, the sweetness of Torah. We should all gear ourselves in and try to be misavel and say, Hashem Yisparach, please take us back. Hashivenu Hashem Elecha v'noshuva. Chadesh yomeinu kekedem. Renew our days. Everybody should be healthy and strong. Refuahs and Yeshuas for everybody. All families in Klal Yisrael that need any Besuros Tova should have them. Parnosa Mitzuya Berevach. Sholem Bayis. All the children should be on the correct derech. Chadesh yomeinu kekedem. Borei Olam. Give us back the Beis HaMikdash like the old days.